back to another episode of Wine by the Bay TV. This is your host, George Bachara. Alex Hawes is with me. Again, we're doing part 2 of our Paso Robles kind of trip in honor of Alex being from Atascadero, which is right by Paso. How far away is that?
Atascadero, I mean, it's 10 miles south. Like,
So,
it's right there. It's actually in the Paso Robles AVA.
Yeah, so there you go. So we're going to jump right into it. What we're going to do is we're going to taste our next wine and then come back and do a side-by-side with the Turley that we tried in the last episode in part 1. Sponsored by Goosehead. Wine by the Bay TV t-shirts coming soon to a theater near you. Let's get it going.
All right, perfect.
All
right, so this is 2013.
Allow me.
Yeah, get it. 2013 Dusi Ranch Zinfandel from Ridge, another iconic California producer from Paso Robles. Dusi Ranch is in Paso Robles.
Right.
Just like all the wines that we've been tasting today. So this has a little bit more age than I think any wine that you've tasted on this show.
On the show, for sure.
Yeah, cool. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we've got 9 years, so I'm hoping that we get into some kind of secondary characteristics. It's starting to develop a little bit. Anticipating the fruit to start to get a little bit more like on the dried side of things. $45
a bottle, is that what you paid for?
$45 for this one.
K&L.
Yep, at K&L, that's correct. They make, there's newer vintages that are a little bit less. They're more like in the 32 range. So, I mean, for a prestigious producer making wine from this is another like old vine. I think they were planted in 1965. So you're talking like over 50 years old.
Yeah,
for these
for
vines.
sure.
So, cool. I'm super excited to give it a taste.
I want to taste this
awesome.
too, for sure. Lay it on me. So as we mentioned in the last episode, we didn't have a whole lot of time to keep these wines open, so I decanted both of these wines. We swirled them around. We try to get as much air as possible into them, and of course we aerate them in the glass. So, bear that in mind, guys. 2 hours is the optimal time, but if you can't, or if you're in a restaurant, insist on a decant. If it's a $12 wine or like a $25 wine, don't decant the wine. Like, you're gonna get laughed at.
Yeah, it's meant to be. It's not really meant to be drunk that way.
Right, exactly.
It's meant to be drunk within a year or two of it being bottled.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. I mean, if you want to decant it at home, that's fine. But, don't go out to a restaurant, pick a $35 bottle, and go, I'd like that double decant.
You don't like that?
Yeah.
You don't like when someone asks you to double decant the BV Coastal Estates?
Love it. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, so what's our ABV on this one? Can you see it?
Let's see.
I've given up, folks. I think it's on the front label.
Thank you. 15-1. So
okay,
just like
15.
the Turley Petit Syrah.
Great.
As the same. And 100% Zinfandel. So I'm excited. I can already tell a lighter color
for sure
than what we're looking at with the Petit Syrah. This is a moderate plus intensity. I can just kind of make out my hand on the other side of it. I don't think I'd really be able to read anything through the other side. But this does have a little bit more bricking going on.
Sure.
There's definitely like secondary colors going to the rim. And that would make sense, once again, because we're talking about a little bit of an aged wine here with 9 years. So,
by the way, the reason I'm going to tell you about this is because we had a wine contest. We all went out to dinner, a bunch of us that worked together. And we each brought, was it 2 wines? I think it was?
I think so.
2 wines. We're talking 7-8 years ago. It was a long time ago.
Yeah, at least.
And we had 10 people, and everybody brought 2, and we drank too much probably, but whatever. And for some reason, everybody thought that I brought the best wines. And that was the Ridge Montebello. Was it 2013?
It was an 07.
It's an 07.
Yeah.
That's why.
It was
although there were some heavy hitters there. There was a lot of good wine. I have to say, I didn't think I would win based on the variety of wines coming in. I felt like I had a shot, but I didn't think it was a lock.
Yeah, there was some good. There was a 2000 Schaefer Hillside Select on the table.
Yeah, that was really good.
And I think one of the wines I brought was a Booker, which is from Paso Robles. It's a GSM blend. But yeah, and for the record, the wine that he's referring to, that one is made by Ridge.
Which is the whole point.
And Montebello is their most prestigious vineyard in the Santa Cruz Mountains.
It gets anywhere between 97 and 100 points pretty much every year.
But 2007 is arguably like the best vintage of California.
It's a top 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I mean, I would think.
Yep.
7, 13, 99. I mean, there's a few. But 7 was...
Yep.
Yeah. If you want to know more about the 07s, look it up. There's plenty of writing on the '07 vintage.
Sure.
It's very highly scored. So let's try this out, huh? What do you think?
I am excited.
Yeah, another good nose. We've been getting lucky. Everything's pretty open.
Yep, everything's been really aromatic and
Not as jammy as the last one.
not
There's
as
definitely a
jammy.
fruit presence,
But this has something that I can't remember smelling in a wine, and I think it's from the oak. It almost has like a maple character to it.
interesting.
It's like you took
Like
just
a berry
little bit
maple
of
syrup,
like a
yeah.
little bit of a maple syrup and drizzled it on some like black plum.
Mhm.
But
I can see that.
Zinfandel is also an interesting varietal because it ripens unevenly.
Now,
Getting the
now
maple
that
thing.
maple just hit me like
Yeah.
a ton of bricks.
Um,
See, that's the best part about wine, guys. If you get a good one and you let it lay down a little bit, it just keeps talking to you. It just keeps telling you different stuff, and that's awesome. That's when I get
Yeah,
enjoy.
you start to get excited
Yeah,
about it
exactly.
for sure. But Zinfandel ripens unevenly, so more so than in most other varietals. So when they harvest the grapes, you'll have raisinade grapes, and you'll have underripe grapes, and you'll have ripe grapes. And so, like, if you smell your Zinfandel and it smells like a multitude of different conditions of fruit, you're probably right.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I wasn't aware of that. That's good news. You are a wealth of information, Alex. Boy, how things have changed.
I used to say, buy that $200 cab. It's really good.
Yeah, it's really good. Just trust me. And they were good, but that's not
good.
really the point.
They better be, right?
I should hope so.
$200.
If you forced me to buy if you talked me into a $200 bottle and it was garbage, I'd get up and smash you in the face with it. And not even think twice about it.
But this is like overripe cherry, but like,
Yeah, there's a little cherry component to it.
and
Maybe dried cherries.
it almost has like it's almost like a stone fruit element here, other than like a plum kind of a thing, which happens sometimes too. It's almost like a kind of a apricot kind of.
Yeah, I get a little apricot. And that's probably to the same boat as that maple. It's in that same
Yeah,
vein.
it's
Yeah.
it's a very different nose, and just a tiny twinge of an herbaceousness to it, but not a whole lot. And I'm not really picking up too much earthiness or minerality.
Yeah, same kind of thing. It's more of a fruity
fruit
kind of thing.
Yeah, the fruit, and that's once again what you would expect. Maybe if this was 20 years old, then it would start to show a little more tertiary.
Or
but-
if it was from France, like you'd get a
Yeah.
lot more minerality. I mean, a lot more soil from like a French kind of thing.
But the fruit's not super dried either.
No.
Like it's still in that kind of ripe to just a little overripe.
a little
kind of
overripe,
character.
right?
Yeah.
Just a little.
Yeah.
Now I'm tasting some cherry. Black cherry. Very different experience than the Turley,
Mm-hmm.
but equally awesome in my opinion. Just in different ways. Getting some oak, some
Yeah.
vanilla for sure.
Plenty of oak, and it was there on the nose too, but even
Yeah.
more present now on
Yeah.
the palate. Kind of like and maybe that's where the maple, I think the maple or / caramelly kind of quality
Yes.
is coming from, which would lead me to think that there might actually be some American oak on this.
I think so, and new oak for sure.
Definitely some new oak. I don't think it's like 100% new oak, but I think it's more than what we had in the Turley.
Definitely more. There was almost none of it because the acid and the alcohol were kind of crowding that out.
Yeah.
I didn't get a whole lot of it. Right here.
But not in a
No, not in a
offensive
bad way. No,
Yeah.
not in a bad way. Because there's more balance to it. There's other things going on. This could easily, if this was a lousy producer, it would be like out of control sweet, and it's not.
And even just on the palate right now, like that black cherry character was overripe, and it's actually kind of like turned a little bit more
Tart?
to the ripe to just ripe character, like on the finish, which is really pleasant.
The acid's dancing in the front of my palate. It's not strong, but it's there kind of dancing around. Not a whole lot of alcohol. I'm not getting like a big warming.
It's had time to chill out in the bottle,
For
you
sure.
know? But once
I'm
again,
definitely tasting it though. Like it's still going. I mean, it's got a long finish. That's good.
Zinfandel's a relatively low acid grape, and once again, this is slightly elevated in acidity. So,
I agree.
Which
not
is
as much as the Turley.
not as much as the Turley had
Right.
more, which once again makes sense because it's a little bit younger.
Mm-hmm.
But the tannin is lower with this. Once again, Zinfandel isn't known for having a bunch of tannin, and most of the tannin that we're getting from it, I think, is from the oak. I don't think we're getting a lot of
There's a
fruit.
little smoke I'm getting too, just a hair, not a whole lot, not
Sure.
not a lot of spice.
Yeah.
Maybe a little hint of white pepper, but nothing crazy. Like
Yeah,
I wouldn't go like, wow, this is peppery, this is spicy. Just maybe,
just somewhere in there.
yeah,
someone
it's kind
accidentally
of hiding
bumps
around.
a little bit, a couple of peppercorn in there. Or
Yep,
something, yeah.
exactly.
It's. I mean, this is super pleasant. This is, I would say, a little bit easier to drink than the Petit Syrah.
As much as I like the Petit Syrah, standalone, I like the Ridge better.
Yeah, I mean, I think that
No food.
no food. Yeah,
No
yeah,
food.
that makes sense. I mean, like honestly, both of these wines are gonna go great. With
Yeah, I'm not
barbecue
turning.
that you're gonna
I'm
make
not
tonight.
turning
But like the
my nose
Petit
off.
Syrah, when you have that much power, like you need some fat.
Mhm.
You need, or at least it helps. I mean, I don't mind drinking it all on them, but
No, I don't mind it. I mean, I don't mind it. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. But I'm saying side by side, like just kind of because we just tasted the.
Yeah.
I know it's been a couple of days for you guys, but like we're just here. I mean, obviously we just shut the camera off, turn it back on. So we're
They-
tasting it sort of side
they
by
waited
side.
eagerly at their laptops
Yeah.
for a whole week
Yeah, they
for
were
the second episode.
Yeah,
to be released.
eagerly yawning and snoring while they were doing mindless work. Yes, of course. We're so riveting. At least I am. Anyway, so I mean, what do you think? I mean, obviously 2 thumbs up, but how is
Yeah,
it?
I mean, what a cool experience! And for $45, we're tasting a wine that's 9 years old from a prestigious vineyard, from a prestigious producer.
For sure.
Like that's awesome.
That's
like,
a win. This
that-
is a huge win.
That's a huge win.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
So it just goes to show, like, it's really easy to just spend your $25 on a bottle, but every once in a while, put a little bit of research into it. Like, go to a place like K&L when you're going to do this.
And
too.
ask, talk to people.
Yeah, and
for sure.
all those people there, like, have, or at least a lot of those people there have a lot to contribute.
For sure.
And they want to help you find something that you like because they want you to come back.
For sure,
And
definitely.
So you don't have to feel like, sometimes if you're in a restaurant, you could be like, oh, I don't want to tell them the price. It can be awkward. You go into K&L, you'd be like, hey, these are the styles of wine that I like, and this is how much
This is
I
what
want to spend.
Right.
And they're going to give you some options, and chances are you're not going to go wrong with any of them. And at this price point, cool. What a fun.
Oh yeah,
what
totally,
a treat.
Totally.
So
Yeah, I mean, I'm not upset. Well, I mean, this to me, because it's more versatile, I would probably give a solid 94. Whereas the Turley, style-wise, I like better, but I'm going to give it 93 because you kind of need more food. Like for most people,
Yeah.
you would want this more with food. This is easy to drink, like just as is. So yeah, 94 points on the Ridge, and because it has more age, I'm not surprised. It has a little more.
yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely. That's awesome.
But-
Did you want to taste these side by side right now?
We can do it real quick if
All
you
right,
want
yeah,
to.
let's do a little quick
Yeah.
one.
Like you can notice the color that we
Yeah.
talked about. I mean, you can notice the rim variation.
It's blatantly obvious that this is more of a darker. Here they come.
I mean, it's pretty much what we talked about before. I mean, the fruit is more in that black to blue, and it's more brooding in the Petit Syrah.
Mm-hmm. I really like that Petit Syrah too. Tough to say. From a value standpoint, I think the Ridge is a better call.
Yeah,
I mean, you're saving
Sure,
$25
yeah.
for sure, absolutely. But I mean, I wouldn't be mad at either of these wines. And the white was so different than most whites you're going to get, especially, in that $30 range, that it's for a non-white drinker to get something a little different. There's value there too. Like I would say, if you're not a big white wine person, but you're spending a lot of time with white wine people, bring that and open it, and you'll enjoy yourself.
yeah. And I would say the Zinfandel has a little bit more of a finish to it.
Absolutely.
Like it resonates a little bit longer.
Yeah, the Turley kind of goes away a little bit quicker. There isn't as long
Yeah,
as
not that it disappears, but just in general, like the Zinfandel, like you would think, being a little bit older, it's got a little bit more complexity to it, I think.
Okay, so I think that was good. I mean, this is pretty successful.
Yeah, I think we had 3 delicious wines, and
Absolutely.
hopefully it's, I mean, I would imagine that a lot of people drink Zinfandel and Petit Syrah that watch this already.
Absolutely.
So,
very common grape.
Yeah. So especially you're in California, so like here's a couple of awesome producers that are doing it right. And these aren't the only ones that they make either. They have different price points.
Ton of them.
Yeah, Ridge makes a Paso Robles ABA Zinfandel that's more like the $25 to $30 range, and it's still like great stuff. So
but that one you really want to lay down a little more.
Yeah,
This one could have been drunk a little younger and still been like really solid.
Yeah, I think this is a good window here, though.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's,
These type of wines, 6 to 10 years is really where you want to be for most of them. I mean, it's great if you can lay it down for 10 to 20, but I mean, you just can't. So, all right. So don't forget to go in the description box below. Follow all the links. I'll send a link to Alex. I'll send a link to your restaurant. I'll send a link to Vermentino, to Giornata, and we'll put all kinds of stuff in there. And then, of course, I had the wrong shirt for you last time, wrong size, so I went along with the hat. You got a big head, so I have an extensible thing.
No, I have a small head and I have big hair.
Either
there
way,
you go.
The hat will fit eventually. So, Alex, George, Wine by the Bay TV, and we'll see you again next time.
Man.